Hi everyone! Welcome to the Crafty Pixie channel where we do sewing projects, craft projects, and subscription boxes. I am B. Thank you so much for stopping by. Whether you are new or old to this channel, it is great to have you. Just to let everybody know, the channel is now at over 100 subscribers. Yay! I am so excited. It's so much fun to watch the comments and the views and the subscribers coming in. It's great. Thank you everybody who is supporting me. It is fabulous. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you know when I upload every Wednesday at 9:15 a.m. Leave a comment in the comment section, especially if you are a new subscriber, and give the video a thumbs up. In today's video, I've got this cute little chain ID wallet. It's the Zip It Janice from Sincerely Jen. Isn't it super cute? Alright, so it's got this clear vinyl pocket so you can put your ID in there. And then it has a little snap pocket. I don't know, chapstick? Receipts. There you go. And then you can stick, some cards or cash or coins or whatever. And this is a great scrap buster. I am using the cotton from I think it's the April Sewers Club box that was left over. So again, great fabric buster there for you. It comes together really quickly. There's no crazy steps or anything. Definitely beginner friendly for you. So without any further ado, let's get to materials and get started. For this project, you're going to need a few things. Don't worry, it looks worse than it actually is. So of course you're going to need your pattern piece, and you're going to want to keep a hold of this because this has your connector placement and your snap placement. You're going to need 2 outer pieces of fabric. I'm using quilt cotton today. You can probably use duck canvas too, but these are both interfaced with SF101. Then you have 2 lining pieces, also cotton. They are not interfaced. Then you have 2 contrasting pieces. One of them is interfaced with SF101. You're also going to want to have a scrap of SF101 on hand for when we do the snaps. You're going to need a ruler. You're also going to need a piece of clear vinyl. You're going to need your zipper tab piece and your D-ring or keychain connector piece, some double-sided tape, a zipper cut to the length in the pattern. You're going to need your normal presser foot as well as your zipper foot. And since we're working with clear vinyl, if you want, you can also do a Teflon foot, or if you don't have one, you can stick a piece of masking tape across the bottom. It'll help not stick to the vinyl piece. You'll also need scissors. It's always good to have a seam ripper on hand, the machine or the tool to put your snap into place. Of course, your snaps. You're going to need a turning tool. Definitely going to need that. That's really going to help you. And always good to have a marking tool on hand. Of course, clips or pins, a sewing machine, an iron, and coordinating thread. So let's get started. First thing we are going to tackle for this project is going to be the zipper tabs and the connector for the D-ring or the keychain ring, whatever one you're doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our connector piece and we're gonna fold it in half, line up the raw edges, and you're gonna fold it in half so that the wrong sides are together, like so. And we're gonna press. And then you're going to take one side and fold it up to that line. And you're going to press that. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other one. Once they are folded into the center, you're just going to fold it back on that line so that your folded raw edges are together. Give it another press. I like to put a few clips on here as well, just so it doesn't unfold. Okay, and then you can set that aside. Next, we're going to take our zipper tab and we're going to fold it so that the longer edges are together, folding it wrong sides together. And press. We're technically doing the exact same thing. Fold the center into that line you just made. And then the other side. Just like so. And then again, fold it so that the folded sides are together, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half and match up the raw edges like this. So you've got your two folded sides here and your solid fold here and the raw edges here. Now we're going to take some scissors and we're just going to cut right here. Ta-da! All right, now you've got two zipper tabs. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the zipper that is cut to the length in the pattern. We're going to slide the zipper tab onto the edge. It will be longer than the zipper tape, it's okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to line up the edge right here, right with that fold in the center. So it's nice and encased like so. You want to make sure it stays even. And we're going to clip it just to hold it in place. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. What I did here is I just took a needle and thread and sewed the edge so that I didn't have it like all over the place while I was trying to do this, and I didn't lose my zipper pull. So we're just going to pull the zipper pull back and we're going to do the exact same thing on this one. just like that. Clip in place. Oh, new clips. They're still getting used to it. All right. And then just clip in place. Now, we're going to take these both over to the sewing machine, okay? With 1/8 of an inch seam allowance for both, we're going to sew right along the inner edge of our zipper tab on both sides. Okay, make sure you backstitch when you are actually on the zipper, just so that everything stays in place. And then on your connector, you're going to top stitch with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance across both long edges. All right, you're gonna backstitch at the beginning and the end, and top stitching is like 3mm stitch length, somewhere around there. So I'm gonna go do that. I'll be right back. All right, with that done, you've got your nice little connector here. You can put that to the side. You can give it a good press if you want to. And then with your zipper tabs, we're just going to cut them so that they are even with the zipper tape. Just like so. All right, that is done as well. Put that to the side. Next, we are going to take the interfaced contrast fabric piece, the one that's got the SF101 on the back. We're going to take that and our ruler and our clear piece of vinyl. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a mark on the center of the contrast piece. So line up the edges. You can mark this with a marking tool, or if you want to be like me, just snip that little bit of end off. You can go ahead and do it to the bottom as well. Just like so. Oh, that was kind of a big one. It's okay. And then you want to make a little crease for the zipper, or for the clear vinyl panel, just so that you can line it up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler, and we're going to measure down 3/4 of an inch. Measure it just like that. And then you're going to place the center little crease that you made right at the center marking, just like that. Now, for this next part, we're going to be sewing this vinyl piece to this exterior. So you can use some Scotch tape if you want to, and then just peel it off through the stitches, or you can use some wash away double-sided tape just on a few areas, just so that it sticks a little bit for you. That's what I'm going to do. I had some good luck. Basically, when you're done this project, you can go ahead and wash it, and it'll wash this tape right away, so you'll never know what was even there. So you're going to take it and just line it up on the edge there. I like to do the shorter side and like the bottom longer side. And you just need a little bit. just like so. And then you can peel backing off. Line up your center mark right like that, so it's right along that edge. And then just press down where you peeled the tape off, and then peel the second piece off. And do the same thing. Okay, so that's nice and aligned for you. Now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine. And we're going to sew along the bottom, the left side, and across the top. Okay, you want to leave this side open so you can fit like your ID or anything in that section right there. So, and you're going to sew with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end. With this particular vinyl, I didn't have an issue using the 2.5 millimeter stitch length, so you can use that or if you want, or you can go to a 3, whichever you prefer. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. With that done, you're going to put that to the side. And then you're going to take your contrasting fabric that is not interfaced. You're going to take your pattern piece for the snap. You're going to take your male end of the snap pieces, a marking tool, and your snap tool. And then we're going to line this up. Make sure you line it up. And then we're going to take our marking tool and we're going to mark right there so that we know exactly where that's going to be placed. I put a little hole in it. Let me see if that's going to show up for you guys. Yeah, it's there. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of our SF101 scrap. This is going to add some more stability to the back so that this doesn't rip the fabric. And we're going to take it over to the sewing machine. What I like to do is I like to poke the hole through the cotton piece, just so that I'm sure exactly where this is going. And then I'm going to fuse the SF101 to the back right here, right over that hole that we just made. So I'm going to do that. Give me 1 second. Alright, I've got the piece fused to the back. Now we're just going to poke the hole through the SF101, just like so. And then you're going to take the backing of the male end and you're going to insert that on the wrong side of the fabric where the SF101 is. Just like so. And then you're going to take your male end and you're going to place that right on top. And then line up your tool and just squeeze really, really hard. All right, and that snap is done on that end. And then you can put all of your pieces to the side. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take both of the contrasting pieces and we're going to lay them right sides together, lining up the top edge and the bottom. And then we're going to clip into place. Just like that. Now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, we're going to stitch right across this top edge. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end. Once you're done, you're going to trim the seam allowance to 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Once you are done and sewed your seam allowance, we're going to take it and we're going to fold it so it is wrong sides together. And we're going to make that seam nice and straight and pushed out. Just like so. Okay. And then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine, or not sewing machine, sorry, the iron, and we're going to press this seam down. Biggest thing here when you're pressing this, do not get the iron onto the vinyl. It will melt the vinyl, okay? So we're going to do that. Once you are done with that, we're going to take this back over to the sewing machine, and we're going to do a top stitch right along the top edge at 1/8 inch seam allowance. What I like to do after I press it, just so that things don't shift, is I'll put like a clip here, and a clip here, so that everything just stays together and there's not a lot of shifting there. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. All right, with the top stitching done, you can place this piece to the side for a moment. Now we're going to take the exterior main panel and we're going to place our pattern piece right on top, just like we did with the accent piece. And we're going to make the dot. Okay. Set that back to the side. Now we're going to connect the female end. So we're going to take our poker tool and then we're going to take our exterior piece of the thing and we're going to put it on the wrong side of the fabric. Like so. Make sure you push it through to the other side. And then you're going to take your female piece and place it right on top. Line it up on your tool. Like so. And then just press down really, really hard to make sure that's nice and firm into place. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to connect the two pieces. So you're simply going to snap them together. Make sure we align the edges and the bottom. And then you're going to clip or pin it into place. Like so. Okay, just like that. Make sure it's even. Okay? Or as even as you can get. And then we're going to take this over to the sewing machine and we're just going to baste these two pieces together. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Now that that is done, you've got your pieces together. Now we're going to put the connector, the D-ring connector or the keychain connector, whichever one you're doing, to and baste it down. Okay, so basically you're just going to fold it in half so that the raw edges are together. We're going to take our pattern piece, line it up, and then we're just going to stick this right where it goes. Okay, you can be super specific and mark it on the paper and then, you know, align it up, but you don't have to. And then you're gonna pin it in place or clip it in place. Probably want to clip that one. clip it in place, and you just want to baste this down just so that it doesn't move. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Next step, we are going to install the zipper. Okay, so if you haven't already, go ahead and fold every single piece that's remaining in half and mark your center point. I just went ahead and clipped it, but you can mark it with a pen, anything like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our panel that we just assembled, and we're going to take our zipper and lay it right side down with the zipper pull on the right when it is closed. You're going to line up your center markings like so, and you're going to clip into place just like that. Okay, just like that. You're gonna have your not magnet, but your little snap here, so it's gonna be a little funky, but it's okay. And then you should have about 1/2 of an inch on either side when you are perfectly aligned. Make sure that your top edges are aligned. Okay, and then you can put as many clips as you need to make this nice and sturdy. We're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, we're just going to sew across the zipper. We're not sewing on the sides, just the zipper. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. With that zipper in place, we're going to take a lining panel, and with right sides together, we're going to align it and sandwich the zipper in between. So line up the edges, line up your center mark, and pin in place. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew right along the seam or the stitch that we've already made, connecting the two panels. Now with this, you're going to want to go all the way to the edge. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end. You do have the snap here still, so it can be a little bit awkward on top of the zipper. Just make sure you're using your zipper foot and you're moving the zipper tab out of the way and going slowly. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Once you have attached it, this is what you're going to be looking at. Now we're going to take it and we're going to fold it so that the wrong sides are together and everything is lined up, and we're going to pull all the seams down so that everything is aligned on the bottom and everything. And we're going to iron the top. Make sure you stay clear of your vinyl. You're going to iron the top nice and flat so everything's even. I also like to clip the bottom just so that everything stays aligned. Just like that. And then you're going to top stitch right along the zipper at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Be careful of your snap and your zipper here. You don't want to get them caught in your sewing machine or make any funky lines or anything like that. And then once you're done with that, you're just going to repeat everything for the other side. Okay, so you're going to take your exterior panel, you're going to lay it right sides together, sew that, and then you're going to take it right sides together like that, so that when you pull it out, You've got the same thing on the other side. You're going to take it over to the iron, press it, and then top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to go do all of that, and I'll be back. With both sides done and top stitched, this is what you're going to be looking at, and you can really start to see what this is going to look like when it's done, and it's adorable. Okay, so next step is pretty much the final step. So we're going to be taking everything and we're going to be putting right sides together on both sides. Now, biggest thing, unzip the zipper at least halfway, if not more, but you don't want it like all the way to the end because then you might get it caught in your stitches and you don't want to do that. Okay, so we're literally going to take our lining pieces and line them up together. And this is pretty much a put together like almost every other pattern, but you're literally going to line everything up nice and neat. You're going to leave yourself a good opening here so that you can turn everything right side out. That's gonna be my opening. The first one I made, it was that size and it was just fine, so I'm gonna stick with that. And then you're gonna clip your pin, or clip the sides. And then when you come over here, you want to push the zipper up towards the lining, like so, and clip or pin. Same thing over here, you want to push it up towards the lining. Now when you are sewing this, do not sew the zipper tabs. Okay, you want to avoid the zipper tabs on both sides so that this is going to turn out nicely. And then we're going to line up our exterior panels. The exterior panels, you don't have to leave a hole because you're not turning it out that way. Please make sure your zipper is undone, because once you do this, it's going to be really, really, really hard to correct that. Okay, and then when you come back over to where the zipper is, you're going to want your seams facing down towards the exterior. Okay, just like that. You're going to want to backstitch really, really well over your connector piece. So just be aware of that when you get to that. Okay, and we're going to sew everything at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure you backstitch really well at the beginning and the end here of your stitches, and of course backstitch really well over your connector. Do not sew your zipper tabs. Avoid them or it's not going to turn out as smoothly as you want. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine, do that, and I'll be right back. After everything is stitched, you can go ahead and cut down your seam allowance to 1/4 of an inch. Do not cut down where your opening is or where your connector is. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and we're going to turn everything right side out. So if you can get your hands on the zipper and then just pull it the rest of the way open, that'll make turning a little bit easier for you. There we go. All right, and then we're just going to pull everything through. Now when you're pulling everything through, do not pull where that pocket is with the snap. You want to pull the other one. And we're just gonna pull it out carefully. You got a lot of stuff coming out. You don't want to rip the stitches. Alright, just working yourself through. There we go. All right. And then get your fingers in there. Poke out your corners as best you can. If you want, you can go ahead and clip the curves just a little bit to make it a little bit easier to turn everything and make the lines sharper, but you don't have to. We're gonna keep going. Just like that. Push everything out as best you can. Okay, and then if you still want it a little bit sharper, you can go ahead and use a turning tool or a blunt end of a chopstick or anything like that, and then just push anything out that you want pushed out. Just like that. Careful. Very, very careful with those stitches. There. And then you can use the rounded edge to really poke out those seams and give that a nice little curve. There. If your stitching is not perfectly straight because of the curve, it's okay. No one's going to actually notice it. Now we're going to close everything up. So, like we always do, push the curves out of the lining. And then you're going to stick your fingers in the opening, which should already be folded because you already have the stitches in place. Make sure everything is nice and even. Put a few clips in if you want to, just to hold everything in place while you're at the machine. And then we're just going to stitch with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, just to close the hole that we made. All right, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna give this a final press. Make sure when you give it a final press, you do not press on the vinyl or you will melt it and your whole project is ruined. Okay, so I'm gonna go do that. I'll be right back. All right, and with a final press, you are done. Voila! Isn't this a cute little pouch? You've got the ID pocket here with the little slip pocket there. And then your nice little zippered compartment here with the nice little lining. Oh, it's so cute. All right. All right, and then just remember, if you use the wash away double-sided tape, just throw this in the washing machine and it'll wash right away and you will be good to go. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and give the video a thumbs up. Until next time, see ya!